Get ahead of it, right?
Did you guys look at this stuff?
Yeah, self. Thank you.
I did. I talked to Jim. Yeah. Can we still go for Derek? It's not. We can still be ahead.
That's good. Well, that's what I, yeah, once you.
Okay.
Good.
Sorry, I didn't get back to you.
But you still don't know who it is.
Yes, thank you.
Crazy.
You know that.
Favorite friend.
The additional half acre there. So there's like 40,000 difference there. So if we go with the higher, it's so close to that. So you just go with the full square feet. Appraisal. And our setback. But it didn't fit.
No, it's just, like you told me, is 16 emails.
This.
Mini golf. Didn't realize.
Seen about it.
Yeah.
I used to go around from.
Maybe it was Nolan engineering. It was theirs. I don't know. Somebody called and said they've left theirs here.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it makes sense.
I don't know how.
I'm having it.
Because all these emails come to me. I only read them. You know, so I give you.
Case is ready when you are.
The first second.
March 31st. That's what I thought. I'll make that some cars. I'll be honest, at 65, I looked at there a lot of times. For me,
And then. Chase is ready whenever you are. Chase is ready whenever
You ready? I want to vote on something. If I agree, I'll say no, I'm not reusing it.
Absolutely.
Ready? You got that. Word. You got it fixed me. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the town board meeting, April 1st, April Fool's Day. So if we're not having a meeting, you can all go home. Please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Gordon,
Here.
Councilwoman McMahon. Here. Councilman Niles.
Here.
Supervisor Molina.
Here.
All right. All right, the first person going to speak is Clay. He's our water purifier. He's been on about a month and a half, doing a hell of a job for us. He wants to give us some information for you know, that we need to help him.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So I know I copied you all on the chlorine analyzer. Let's start with the DOH meeting. Dan came up and met with us, Logan, Steve, myself, and went through the plant, went through the process. We talked about a few things. Just kind of wanted to get a take on where we were with our operators and their education, their training, and how soon they could get certified. And Logan took the course to have his 2B water license, and the Department of Health is willing to sign off on him as soon as possible. Working with me, he's worked with me long enough, and he's got the aptitude and the knowledge to do it. And then Steve is scheduled for the 2B course next week, actually. So he'll go out and do that course and work with me for a little while, and then he'll be eligible as well to be a licensed operator for the town.
That's good. That's a plus. You're moving along.
Yeah, absolutely. So he touched on just the process of the plant, went through and familiarized himself with everybody in the plant, the wells. And just one thing he brought up was the chlorine analyzer, which we do bench tests every day. 365 days a year. And with the analyzer, it gives you the opportunity to have constant monitoring when we're not there. And also the ability to tie into our call out alarm system so we can set a high residual alarm and a low residual alarm. And then if it meets either of those set points, all of us, meaning Logan, Steve, myself, get the call to go respond if there's a problem. So I got quotes from Ty Sales, Hawk, and Brian Link with Kester Associates. And like you saw, the quotes range from $10,000 to the lowest at $3,600 for Hawk. And some systems that I quoted were a probe system that has a constant water source that runs across the probes that pick up your chlorine residual and also your temperature. It'll read those two readouts. The other system through Hawk is what they call a reagent system, that it actually takes the two chemicals into a sample, makes the color, then reads the color to give you a residual, and then sends that output. Those are the cheaper, but every month you're buying $120 worth of reagent chemicals. So that adds up in the course of the year, which actually pans out to be close to the same cost as a probe. And the probes last for 5, 6, 7 years. So with those systems I'm looking at, I want to be able to tie into our alarm system, which is kind of antiquated. And who's the gentleman's name that you mentioned?
Bud Thompson.
Bud Thompson, right? He helped program our system recently and reprogram the call out. So if you want to give me a little bit more time before we make a decision to maybe look at updating the dialer, then that would be a
If you want
plus.
to talk to Bud,
We will, yeah,
let me know and I'll hook you up.
absolutely. So,
Clay, this is your first time here, and I know you just started with us. Easiest thing to do, like you've got those quotes.
Mhm.
Make sure to come into. Well,
Lori,
Lori.
Or Colleen.
actually, Colleen should come in, or you should, Lori. This way we will get copies of them.
Well, you did get copies. Is that what you sent?
I
in?
did, yeah.
Well, I think the next step would be to zero in on, do the research with Bud and those machines. And then the next step would be to figure out what's the initial cost and say a cost for a year. Because you're telling us,
Yeah,
even though one's more expensive, it might be cheaper.
Yeah.
And then figure out what you would recommend
sure.
and then put that stuff all together and give it to Lori. She'll make up a resolution and it'll go up at our next meeting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that you guys had entertained like what the SCADA system, which is the
I
system.
don't think he ever brought that to the board.
No, I had quotes, so I was able to kind of dig through
Yeah.
and find some.
That was so much money. I think I would have remembered it.
Yeah, Yeah, it was looking like now it's about 22 to 25,000
Yeah.
for a simple system, but we just don't need that kind of monitoring
I
right
don't
now.
see that need for
We
a
don't.
long time.
No, no. So, but at the least, I think the chlorine is the way to
Yeah.
go. With, the advice of Dan McElrath from
Yeah.
DOH, so.
That sound like a plan?
Sounds like a
Absolutely.
plan.
And if there's any questions too, that you guys have, let me know. Otherwise, like I said, everything's been going good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no complaints, no problems. That's
Yeah, I
good.
organized redid all the paperwork, all the reporting. So if you guys actually want a copy of the monthly reports now, I'll send them to you so you can at least see all of our totals
I
for the
think it
month.
was really professional that you, on your own initiative, asked Dan to come over. Dan is the engineer for the state health department. That looks over the systems. And Clay invited him over once he got his feet on the ground. We weren't even due for an inspection yet, but
Yeah, It's best to have good communications with these guys,
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's no problem. Just gonna take care of what he needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right,
All right.
very
yeah.
good.
Yes, Clay.
Thanks, Clay.
Thank
Sure,
you.
absolutely. I'll have that to you at the end of next week.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll send you Bud's cell phone number and stuff.
Perfect. All right, thanks.
Yep.
All right, the next thing we have on the agenda is a discussion about the Luzerne Woods project. I don't have your name here, so just state your name.
Yes, good evening, Brandon Ferguson with Environmental Design Partnership. I don't know if you guys have been following the Luzerne Woods subdivision project as well, very much with the planning board, but it's an 18-lot subdivision off of Sagamore Drive that we've been proposing. And last week it got preliminary plat approval from the planning board. As part of the subdivision, we are proposing new roadways and water extension to serve the proposed homes. So as part of our approval process, we have to go to New York State Department of Health and they have to review it as a realty subdivision. And the one thing they want to know is who's going to own and maintain the water lines and the roadways after construction. So we've been talking to Ron, we've had a couple of meetings with him, talking to the planning board, and what the applicants would want to do is turn over the roads to the town after they're constructed to town specs, and the water mains as well. The water main will actually loop through the project, so it would be connected on two ends, the main water main. There'd be a couple little stubs as well. But as part of the DOH,
Brandon, were
Yep.
you gonna ask about the stormwater?
yes, oh yes, it's the stormwater, and so there's stormwater management as well. There's some infiltration areas on site that the stormwater gets collected in the roadside ditch and then goes down to these small depressions that would allow it to infiltrate into the ground to meet New York State DEC regulations. So for that as well, we'd like to see if the town be willing to take that over and accept it as long as it's built per town spec and town plan. So with New York State DOH, we would need letters, if you guys are willing to do it, from you guys stating who would be, that you'd be willing to own and maintain it after completion of construction. So we're here tonight requesting that.
You need an answer tonight?
What's that?
Do you need an answer tonight?
Not necessarily tonight. We are trying to kind of finalize things, so the sooner the better, obviously. To be able to move forward with DOH is kind of the next step in their approval process. They're not going to issue their final approval until they get this information from the town.
Maybe 2 weeks?
2 weeks? Yeah, no, that would be fine.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I like,
Yeah, no, yeah. I get
Where's
it.
it at with Cedarwood?
yeah.
Cedarwood has reviewed everything. He was fine with the planning board accepting the preliminary plat. Even if you do these letters of intention, you still can withdraw that at the end. It doesn't, it's not cementing you into taking over the roads, the stormwater system or the water lines at this point. It's just letters of intention. But Cedarwood has reviewed everything. They're good with everything. There were a couple of questions towards the end. One is the water flow, which I guess Ron and you and
Did you get my email today?
You know, I didn't get it today. Our email server went down in the office for like 3 hours, so it probably get sent me during that time.
I went through the bells up there.
Okay.
To make sure they were all on.
Okay.
They are on. I have a couple more that I'm gonna check and then we can do another.
Okay, we can do another flow
another
test.
flow test.
Yeah, the flows out there in the Sagamore Lake Tour Road area were a little lower than we'd want to see for fire flows in that area. We want to see about 500 gallons a minute, and I think we were getting like
50 or something.
450 or something like that, so it was a little lower than what DOH would like to see. So we're working with Ron to do another additional test out there, and he's checking valves to make.
The
sure it's
ultimate
open.
approval on that is DOH.
The ultimate
though.
approval on that is DOH, yep.
That's just fire flow, that's not daily usage, so they're meeting what they need for regular daily usage, it's just a matter of
What?
fire flow, meaning that fire
Yes.
gallon per minute.
But the immediate request to this board is to get some kind of letter or commitment from us that will accept the roads and the stormwater thing.
That you intend to.
Yeah, that your intent would be,
My
yeah.
my concern is.
It's not binary.
I'm sorry, you're,
My concern is that the roads are properly engineered.
they are.
My concern is that there's some bond or some insurance that tells us those roads are gonna be good for X number of years.
I have,
I spent 30-some years in a community that had 10 developments going on all the time, which is a community I know you know well. And sometimes roads would last a couple of years and they'd have potholes in them big enough to sink a Jeep in.
I have with me the resolution that the planning board accepted, that wrote up to do when they accepted the preliminary plat. It's 6 pages long. I can read it if you would like, because all of that is in there. They've already addressed that in the resolution. Or I can provide it to you by email for you to read, but there are 10 points in here that they looked at, and most of your concerns have been addressed in some manner.
Mhm.
And again, remember that this is a preliminary approval at this point. We still can withdraw our approval before the final end.
I know,
It's not
I don't know how much the
cemented
board
into anything.
knows. I'm here every day. I've asked you questions on it,
I
especially
can provide this. to you.
especially with the road side and size, which I know it's the right one, the way Ron likes it. But I would see no problem with that. Anyone's-
Mary, would you draft that letter when it comes time?
He actually provided them.
Got a stamp it?
We took some language, we took some language from other towns. I mean, you can feel free to change it however you want. I just wanted to give you guys an example of what we normally see. That DOH typically is looking for in the language, but feel free to edit it how you like. I just kind of put some language together. to
At
kind
the
of
last
off, but-
meeting, I provided you with the draft that he had given us on those letters.
All right.
I just want to let you know.
I wasn't here.
Violate the-
Mary likes those things.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, board have any more questions for us?
I'd like to make a motion to move forward with it.
And I'd like to second.
Want to call a roll for this one?
Can we add a contingency with town attorney approval? Obviously.
Sure.
We need your approval.
I approve.
No, I need it. Approve the letter.
I did, I looked at it.
Okay. Okay.
I had one question. The water, the one for the, that is, it looks like it's to be signed by the water superintendent. Is that the correct person to sign that, or should they all be signed by the town supervisor?
I've seen it both ways. I would say it could go either way for that one, the town supervisor or, the water superintendent. The water superintendent might be a little more proper to sign that one, just because it has to do with, they're saying yes, and he's already kind of signed the other form as well for the
Okay.
DOH 348, and it's kind of stating, confirming what's already on that form, that, yeah, they had that capacity and that kind of stuff as well, so.
I'll make it that he let him sign them.
So that would just be the
He got
water
the
one, and then-
answers.
Okay, but the rest I think are for you to sign.
Okay.
Jean.
Okay.
All right, anything else? Anything else?
I don't know.
Yeah, vote.
Councilman Morton,
Yes.
Councilwoman McMahon,
Yes.
Councilman Niles.
Yes.
Supervisor Molino.
Yes.
They plan on redoing the road for Melrose, right, down to the Bay.
All the way down to, Sagamore.
Broadway or
Sagamore, yeah, I think it's Sagamore in that area, yeah, they,
Just a small dirt section.
yep, that's as part of our plan, so that was part part of the preliminary approval. They are redoing and paving that section as well. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Sounds
Nice to
good.
see you again.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Is there anyone here from the folks group? Okay, we'll move on. All right, go ahead.
I'd like to make a resolution to accept the sale price. For the folk school.
Okay,
Of $200,000.
yeah,
A second.
That's the higher of the two appraisals.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
All in favor?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I just want to clarify, this is the sale of the two different tax map parcels, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause the different lights on them.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
Did you see that?
No, but I've been talking to people about it.
Okay. All right, let's move on here. I'll open the floor for any comments on. We have an opportunity to speak to us at the end of the meeting, but this part of is just strictly on our, what we're doing here on our resolutions. There's all copies up there if you want to read them. And then after that, and all done, we go back to an open session. We have questions asked. Okay? All right, so anybody from the floor has any questions on all the resolutions we're gonna adopt tonight? Okay, see none, we'll move forward.
Okay, proposed resolution to pay the bills of the seventh abstract of 2025 as presented. Highway fund vouchers 4744 to 4758 and 4802 to 4803. $20,596.82. SW1 vouchers 4759 to 4761, $3,678.62. General fund vouchers 4762 to 4801, $33,159.15.
Lori, I don't believe those last two checks were in that total. So it came to 23,719.92 for the 480 or 4802 to 4803.
20, yeah, that should be 23,000.
23,719.92.
23,719.92.
I'll approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, all the rest are correct. Okay. All in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Proposed resolution to accept minutes of January 7th and 21st.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
uh,
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution to appoint Elaine Morton as the deputy registrar and deputy collector.
I make the motion.
I'll second that one. And have
We
to
need
go,
to do a roll call.
do a roll call on that.
What do I say? Recuse myself? Okay.
Councilman Morton,
Recuse myself?
Councilwoman McMahon.
Yes.
Councilman Niles,
Yes.
Supervisor Molino.
Yes,
Proposed resolution to authorize highway superintendent to purchase paving hot box.
okay, just a
Which you guys have that.
just a quick explanation, so you know, it's tried to explain before, the hot box is, it came in at 44,560. And, instead of the 4605, and we also had a discussion as, the budget officer, and I talked to Colleen, my administrative assistants, and Ron, we're gonna do this in, 5 payments. For 5 years, $11,052 for 5 years, instead of the new price of 44,560. It still is 44,000, but it's divided into 5 payments. It'll help keep the budget under control.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Proposed resolution to approve occupancy tax funds in the amount of $5,000 for the Lake Luzerne Music Center.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Proposed resolution to approve occupancy tax funds in the amount of $6,000 for the Adirondack Folk School.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Proposed resolution to approve occupancy tax funds in the amount of $1,500 for the Galaxy Entertainment Roy Orbison event at the Senior Center.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Proposed resolution to approve 2,500 for Tri-Town Senior Club bus trips for Lake Luzerne, Hadley and Luzerne residents.
I make a motion.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. We're down to discussion.
All right, you want me to speak? We had information given to us from the Booster Club of, I'm assuming Lake Luzerne. For $28,725. I did some checking back at the county and the attorney for the county about giving this resolution out. I also got the law of Warren County here in front of me, but I'm gonna see, but we cannot fund this. It is not, the idea of the bed tax is guaranteeing that you're gonna be bringing enough heads and beds to cover the odd tax that those people pay. And I did, some kind of analysis on it to try to make people understand. Just to raise $30,000, I'm going with an even number, I know it's 27 and change. You have to bring in $750,000 in business in the county. And that's where the hotels, motels, bed and breakfasts, Airbnbs all come in, they collect that tax. So what I would just say, I think it's a good idea to help you people out on that. And I'd like to have more of a discussion with my board and we give you a better answer in 2 weeks from now. I think we can come with something for 27,000. To be honest with you, we get 30,000 from the county. So that's almost 2/3 of what we get to give out to all the people that we give out money to. So we'll have a discussion later on and we'll give you an answer in 2 weeks. So I hope that helps. Anybody got anything to say on that? You don't have to wait till the end of the meeting. All right, thank you. Go ahead, you get the other one. We're putting it on hold.
Yes.
You got one more? Oh, well, this is it's on the discussion. The other one is the youth baseball sponsorship. Again, it's not eligible under the laws of the county that gives us the tax money. But we put it on hold, just like with yours. We're gonna work on something to get everybody a little something. It's the best I can give you right now. Okay? I use the old phrase, I've been doing this is my 28th year. I don't look good in stripes. So, I don't want to break any laws. So give me 2 weeks and I'll just double check this with the county attorney, not our attorney, the county attorney who handles this. All right. But I think we're gonna, in my mind, up to the board, I'm only talking for Gene, we're gonna get you something. Right, but like the 28,000, right? I mean, that's almost 2/3 of what we get. And we have a whole list of what we give to all kinds of organizations. So just bear with us about another 2 weeks and we'll work out something. I'll work out something with the board.
I just want to, as you're talking, I'm reading through the thing from the county right here. And I circled a paragraph. I just want to read this paragraph because I think it will help to clear up some of the stuff here. Part of the proposal, I believe, was to include hosting different tournaments and sporting events that could potentially bring people in
And under the rules and the guidelines here, under applicant eligibility, says eligible applicants may be an individual, nonprofit organization, or for-profit business requesting funding in support of a multi-day special event, sporting event, activity, or tourism-related initiative, which will produce a significant impact on overnight guest stays and visitations. I agree with you fully. Your point about having them bring $750,000 and that being way too high of a number, the $27,000 mark. But I think this would fall under the category hosting multi-day sporting events to bring people in. And I do think we should be able to give them some sort of number.
Well, like I said, I'm not gonna say we're not giving them anything, but number one, the number 28,000 is, you know, just on, we get 30,000. We give out to all the other people we give out to. So I just want to make sure that I can work with you on it, because it's not, I'm only going by my knowledge of what we talk about at the county. It's, how can I say this? It's not, you know, we can't give a school function this money, and we can't give a booster club money, because it's not under the total thing of, you people don't advertise all year long to bring people in. You might advertise just for a couple of weeks to get what you got to get done. So I'm gonna just double check it at the county. That's why I say give me another 2 weeks, and I'll see how far we can go with it. I think we can give you something, but right now to start it, the 28,000 kind of high. You take away 3/4 of what we have. We've given out a lot already. I don't even think we have 28,000 left. So just bear with us for another 2 weeks and we'll see what we can do. I think you can make some comments now if you want.
Maybe can you clear up if a booster club is eligible or not?
So I read through the Booster Club's proposal and it certainly hits all the buzzwords that the county is looking for in terms of occupancy tax. So based on their proposal, I do think you could give them some occupancy tax.
Oh, I think I can some, but
Yeah.
the 28, it's,
Would we have to prove those numbers?
yes, you have to keep perfect records. When you get tax money,
We have to report back, like, say you had a tournament, like how many heads are like.
in most cases, you have to spend it first. That's really our rule. But as a start out, we have nothing to act, you know. So this year we would say, well, we'll give you something, tell us what you did. You know, and you have to have the thing first, or you gotta come up with the money first, spend it, and then we can give it to you.
There's
Type of thing.
certain reporting requirements.
There is, yeah.
They'll give you a sheet if they give you octax, but I mean, you don't have to have numbers. You just have to show, like, if you have an event, where did people come from? How many people did you have?
Right, but just give me 2 weeks. I want to check into it a little bit more at the county, see how far we can go. But I know we'll give you something, but not we can't get that much this year.
Correct me if I'm wrong. No,
Right to speed.
this group could apply directly to the county also for occupancy tax money.
Yes, that-
However, the 2025 cutoff date to apply was back in December.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so that wouldn't go through us. That would be direct with the county. So in the future, keep that in the back of your heads.
Yeah, and you have to get it in by December. Because we set aside money at the county for extra money for towns if you have a big project that you want to do. Well, but that goes through audits and everything else, and you have to really keep very good numbers and everything what you do. Even with us, I've done this 20 years now. If you read the whole rule, you should have all that information to us before and then after. I don't ask for the stuff until you do the job. Hopefully that when we do give you money, you go up to the criteria that we need. But some other towns run it different. You have to spend the money first. And give us all the bills and then we'll give you the money back. And that's tough in a situation when you need big bucks. Well, all right, so just bear with us and I'll see what I can get more information, because I'll go to the county auditor. She's the one that's gonna look at it. we did that just for an example. We authorized 12,000 last year for our food trucks. And when they sent in all the paperwork, there was stuff in there that they didn't allow, so we only got about 10,000 back. You know, like you want to sell sweatshirts. If you're charging people for sweatshirts, you can't put it as use that money. You know, also, if you're gonna do food, you gotta come to the town and get a permit for that day or 2 days, whatever it is,
Only if that's on town
if
property.
it's on town property. The school's not town property, but just to keep in mind, you gotta keep good records on everything. All right? But we'll see, give us 2 weeks and we'll see what we can do. We'll give you something. I'm pretty sure we'll do it. But the whole amount here this year is tough. Once you get it going, just like Stone Beans, they want to do something like sports programs. Want to start playing sports and have towns come over. But you gotta have the stuff in advance. The information. So when you start off small, if somebody wants to spend money and then come to us for it, we'll go through it and have an auditor look at it. And if it passes, we'll give you our tax. All right, it's tough. It's a very strict, thing to do. All right. I'll give you a chance. Any questions?
I'm hoping it works. I'm hoping we can grow into something pretty neat.
Yeah, we could.
Because I've seen it
at the
before in
beginning.
other communities.
And once you start doing it, we give, I'm not gonna say, just say we give you 2,000, 5,000. You gotta come back with all that information, and if it meets that much, then next year we can go higher. And keep making it grow. But you gotta start someplace. All right? All right, thank you. All right, highway report.
Pretty much we're getting close to getting everything back together. We're down to only one vehicle that's down, so we're waiting on parts. Other than that, that's it.
All right, thank you, Ron. Zoning,
Before I start, I have a question. You brought up the folk school. And, my question is, I haven't seen what is happening here, but are they looking to do a boundary line adjustment with that other parcel that the town owns?
let me explain it that. I don't know, it's already in town property and on that property. But it was not physically separated by open spaces. And when we get it back from open spaces,
Where the folk school is now is like I'm gonna, close to a half of an acre. That is one parcel. Then the town owns another large parcel all the way around that.
Right.
And my question is the folk school looking to just get like another half an acre to add to that present one?
5-3.
So they're going to have to do a boundary line adjustment, and my question is, does that have to happen, Mary, before they go through a sale process? I would think that it would, correct? And it would still have to go through the planning board?
No,
Or is the town exempt?
no. So my understanding is the folk school wants to buy the parcel that they're currently on. And then they want to buy a 0.53
right, that's that piece, open spaces,
acre.
yeah.
So they're gonna have to provide a survey of the portion that they want to buy, the half acre, which will have to go in the property description of the deed. They can do the boundary line adjustment after the fact if that's what they want to do.
Okay. But they're going to meld it all into one parcel. It's not a subdivision.
I would assume
Yeah,
that's what they're
I think
gonna
that's
do.
what they're gonna do.
Okay.
But I don't know that.
Buy 2 parcels.
They're buying,
Can be done after the fact.
right,
Yes, it
Okay.
can actually, I think, all be done as part of the property transfer.
Okay, all right. That was my question because I didn't know what the discussion was. I only have 2 things. I provided you today with your zoning report.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, as always, you can contact our office. I also wanted to say that Tucker is here tonight. If anyone has any questions they want to ask especially about the short-term rental, since he is doing that pretty much on his own. But he is here tonight at the meeting. And the other thing that I wanted to just bring up, this is more for the record than anything, is about complaints. In my zoning ordinance, it basically states that complaints have to come into my office, preferably by affidavit. But I do accept them in writing, but I do not act on complaints that come in anonymously. So just for the record, if you have a complaint, you have to put your name to it and submit it to my office. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Anything that you want to say, Tucker, or are you all set? No,
No, I got
yes.
I thought you were going to go by letter, but you're not going to read that letter. No, okay.
No, it's being taken care of.
All right. Councilman Morton?
Couple things. I reached back out today to Steve Abbott, who was doing the assessment on the town park property. Play use and bike trails. Haven't heard back from him yet. I did also speak with Ethan Gaddy from the county a little bit about that as well. So he's waiting to hear back from Steve. He's kind of in the same boat as me as well. So as soon as I hear back from him, I hope now that the snow clears, we'll get a better here pretty soon. And Ethan did mention that right now the state is kind of ripe with funding for projects like that. So he's pretty optimistic and everything moving forward. And then I had a question about the buildings downtown. Are you going to cover that in your? Okay, all right. So sure.
So I worked with Karen and Tucker today to get pictures, and determine the actual violation. So we have a letter, it's gonna go out tomorrow. And once they have 30 days to remedy it, and then we'll commence an action in Supreme Court.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So
All right, Councilwoman McMahon?
Okay, I have had quite a few calls about the roads. You did a great job, Ron, your department, keeping the roads cleared. It is, I'm sure all the roads are getting a little sketchy right now. The majority of the people that were complaining about it, they get it, they understand. But keep up the good work. Thank you. I hope that might help.
Sorry. Councilman Niles? Don't make his head too big.
Brief update on the playground. The last 30 days, we've got in $6,850. So we're getting close, step by step, and
That's that little
yeah,
meter over there.
and we have a committee meeting Thursday at 6. Anybody wants to attend? We got the contract from the state, the $150,000 grant, which is to do the engineering for the water system. Just before I left for vacation, I met with Cedarwood Engineering just to meet their staff and get a feel for what they're capable of. They're the engineering firm that put together the proposal for this grant. So if we don't have to competitively bid this, I think we should move forward with Cedarwood. If we have to competitively bid it, I think we should move forward with Cedarwood for them to put the package together to bid it. I know it sounds.
What do you think of it?
I'll have to look at the grant agreement.
Okay. Let me know if you need something for me to do that.
I have a copy of it. So.
Okay. One other little thing. I spoke to the Ford dealer. The truck for buildings and grounds is at the shop that puts the dump box on it. It was expected to be done any day. It's
Any day now.
yeah.
All right.
You want to buy a bridge?
Huh?
Do you want to buy a bridge?
Anything else?
No, I'm done.
Deputy clerk
I have nothing. Thank you.
and attorney?
I already did mine.
Okay, guess I'm left. I only got a couple of comments real quick. Again, Ron, I know I don't want to make your head bigger, but I think your men did a great job this winter, especially lack of snow for the last 2 or 3 years, so didn't get too many complaints, so I feel good about that. I'm just gonna give you a couple of quick things. The folk school is having a quilt showing on April the 11th at the school from 4 to 6. All right. Also, I wrote it down here, but I realize it's in May. Let's see if I try to be very organized here. This is called a spring zing. Comes from the fish hatchery in Warren County. But it's May 10th and it's mostly all day. Kids love it. They got fishing poles and stuff for them to kiss fish, and they can watch the way they grow fish all year long. In fact, I just talked to them today. We'll probably get our supply of fish probably Friday, if not definitely Monday. They still worry about the temperature of the water, he told me today. So we'll be stocked pretty good there with our trout. Anyway, it's a great day. It's a nice day out. It's right by the Hudson River in Warrensburg. Kids love it. If you have kids, take them there. They'll really enjoy it.
When is that, Gene?
That's May 10th. It's a Saturday. It's from 9:30 to 2. It's free and they'll have, hot dogs and stuff like that for the kids. All right. The other thing for Ron, this week I'm on the DPW at the county. This week we approved an agreement with a marking company for marking the stripes on the roads. And it's also got a provision that we can piggyback on that if you want to do it for the town. And the second one, which is a kind of biggie here, the DPW, we approved it. I was at the meeting last Thursday. Old Stage Road. County's gonna hopefully finish that project on the Old Stage Road. And it's estimated to cost $1,714,300. So it's not cheap to do a road of work, but hopefully we get Old Stage done. Last but not least, the buildings and grounds worked on the Harmon House on Main Street over the winter when they had time. We put a new floor in downstairs. We did some painting. I just want to have permission. It's on the, don't really have to ask me, but I want you to know I'm gonna do it. I gotta buy 2 or 3 tables for down there because they're up like folk school, other groups like to meet down there. And now we're ready to get back in action. Tables are cheap, they're not even gonna cost $500, not even. But we are gonna use, the red chairs we got from the senior center when we got the new black ones. There's about 20 of them in the garage out there. I'd like to take them out of there and put them in the Harmon House, so I don't have to buy chairs. So just so you know, I am gonna get out and get some tables. And that's about all I have. So now it's back to the public. Do you have anything to say? What's that?
There's that I forgot to mention. Now that the folk school sale is progressing and the Open Space Institute is meeting sometime this month to convey the property back over to the town, I wanted to talk to the board about starting the process. I didn't want to confuse the two before the folk school issue was taken care of, but have the town take over the rest of the Open Space Institute property that is along River Road. I know they want to convey it back to the town, but I wanted to bring it up to the board. We've talked a little bit about it in terms of in the future, possibly extending the walking trail along the river there and up River Road. I don't see any harm in starting that process and talking to them, especially since they already want to convey the property over to the town. To see where they can.
But you know where that property is,
Yes.
Tennis courts.
The one that's on River Road. Up further on River Road.
Oh, across the Hudson.
Not across the Hudson.
We go over in the back.
On the tennis courts and then up River Road further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We up to the house, we up to the creek, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
So that the rest of it that they have not conveyed to the town, not to do with the folk school, but the other piece of property that's further up River Road.
Well, the one that's way up River Road.
Yes.
8 acres or 6 acres,
Yes.
you're talking about, okay.
That's the one I'm talking
All right.
about. Yeah.
You wanna try to get that piece?
I would like to try to get that piece. They want to give it back to us anyways. And,
Is there any reason not to?
I don't see a reason not to.
Yeah.
We're not getting taxes on this or anything. No,
No legal implications or?
it would
They
just,
wanted to give it to us years ago, but unless you had a project to put there.
I might have a project in mind.
How do we start the ball rolling to get them to give that back to us?
Well, we'd have to call them. That was never ours. It was never ours. When we talked about the one we had now, Charles, something or other, I was with, we went down and looked at it. Did you looked at that piece of property?
Yeah.
It's pretty gully and then it goes up the mountain. You have an idea to use it, to get it?
I mean, I think it would be a good idea to continue to improve that waterfront area back behind the tennis courts and then extend the walking trail up River Road to connect to that property eventually, to give the public more access down there.
So if we have to contact them, who is we?
I'll call them. Charles, I
You
know.
call?
Call them tomorrow. I got my speed dial. All right, we'll find out. I don't know if they still have it. This was a couple of years ago when we,
Well, we just talked to him last month.
that's right, he said it's still.
Yeah. He asked us if we wanted to take it, but I didn't want to confuse it with the folk school
Yeah,
thing,
so
so.
let's get the folks done.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll look into it. Nobody,
Patricia has her hand up for 20 minutes.
That's okay.
okay, Stanley.
Okay, I have two things.
Go ahead.
The first thing is, the appraisal for the property for folk school. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear the amount of the appraisal that was accepted.
290.
I'm sorry, speak into the mic, please. 290?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And the other thing is, that fish day on, May 10th. I would like to advertise that. If someone can send me a couple of sentences describing it, I'd like to put it out in my newsletter.
Okay, which was that? I'm sorry, I was looking for that answer for you for the other one, but.
The fish day.
Oh, the
that you
fish
talked-
hatchery?
Yeah.
I'll get that to you.
Okay, thank you.
That's on May 10th, I think I said.
Yes,
So I'll get it to you. When you
Thank
guys
you.
coming back?
the end of the month, 29th.
All right. How's
With us?
Florida this year? How was Florida this year?
Beautiful, very
Okay.
nice.
We had the most snow that we had in the last 3 years, so you missed.
I
you didn't miss
love
much.
the snow. I'm afraid of the ice. The ice is what scares me.
All right, Patricia, yeah. Okay. Can I ask for executive session just to discuss that flag?
Yes, I just have to figure out what you're gonna do it under. Or do you wanna make people wait though?
No,
Okay.
no, we'll do it at the end of the meeting.
Oh,
Well, this is
okay.
we're coming to the end now.
You still have to open to the.
There's they both wanted to talk.
Well, anybody else want to, I'm sorry, go ahead. Come on up. I'm sorry, I thought it was finished. No, you can't do it.
Jean Romer Cecil, Hadley Youth Director. I want to start off by telling you, thank you so much for your support over the last couple of years, and we're starting to roll up our sleeves and get ready for this year. My email was down for a long time, so I haven't really connected with you. But last year, we had 120 participants, 63 were from Hadley, 48 were from Lake Luzerne, and then we had 9 from the surrounding communities. The reports were finalized and the bills were finally paid. Warren County and I had some difficulties hooking up because of the fact that my email was down, so we ended up doing it through my personal, but that's all settled now, so I'll be able to communicate and get those reports for them for next year. We participated in the school's trunk or treat. That was a lot of fun. We did an annual ornament painting and we had more kids this past year than we did the last 2 years. I think we had like 30 plus people for that, so that was pretty cool. And the last 3 years, we participated in the Breakfast with Santa. And that way, you know, the kids have a craft to do and bring home with them. So that was fun. I just wanted to let you know that April is the month of the military child. Purple is the official color and used to honor and support our young warriors. April 25th is a designated day to wear purple for the military children. And we do have a few in our district that have parents in the reserves.
What is it, April 25th?
April 25th.
Okay. And you say your email was down. Have you sent me, is it be the same bill that town pays Hadley for our children? For the summer program?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is the bill gonna be the same as we did last year for the summer programs Hadley?
It should be, yes.
Because I didn't get anything yet.
You did, okay, all right. Do you have set aside yet or? Did you
Oh, we're
set-
gonna do it. It was a very successful, and
yeah.
you did a great job.
Thank you.
Got a lot of great, nice compliments, so. It's well worth the funds that we donate to that.
And we do, you know, we did expand to 4 days. This year, we're doing 5 with our Fridays being extra activities for some of the older kids, because as they get a little older, they get kind of bored with some of the things that we're doing. And I've reached out to a couple of businesses. I don't know if people have got my email yet, but that went out. Okay,
I was already offended.
you were on vacation. So
Why don't you send me an email on that? I'd like to donate too, because I don't own my business this year, but I'd
okay,
like to.
yes, yeah, I would love to do that.
Okay.
So, again, we use the local to businesses and we may be spanning out a little bit, but, because we have older kids and I'd like to get them to do different things.
Because we're losing a lot of business between Lake Luzerne and Hadley. I mean, Pizza Joint is out now and
It's
no
it's-
restaurants, so.
We have kids coming in from Glens Falls, which
Really?
is pretty cool. And we not this past year, but last year we had a kid come up from Schenectady to participate. They would come up and use the beach and come over and then go back to the beach. So word of mouth, I think, you know, we're doing very well.
Very good.
All right, and I'll send you that. Yes.
There you go.
Gene, the bike associations are putting together a thing that they're calling Bike Day. And it's designed to be educational for kids and young adults and adults for that matter. It's in the embryonic stage right now, but it's going to happen this summer. So you may want to touch base with them, you know, you might want to bring your.
With the library as well with that. I think.
Yes.
Yes, because I have Tuesdays I work with the library and we're
Yeah.
so I think that's on our list of stuff.
Yeah.
At least to advertise for.
Yeah, we have a meeting Monday on Zoom. So I'll see if there's a date yet. But you know, they're gonna have guest speakers, they're gonna have crafty things for the kids and, you know, with the intent of teaching kids about monitoring watersheds and so on. Just,
One of the days that I have planned is a DEC day, so that would be
Yeah.
then to have that to.
there's a couple of those folks that we're talking to as speakers, you know, potential speakers.
That'll be great, yes, and what I'll do is I'll send you all in my work email, and that way I'll send you the information, and then you'll have it for the town webpage too.
Jean, how old are the kids able to participate in?
When the youth gives you that parameter, it's 0 to 21. And we run our program 0 to 21, but our main group of kids is anywhere from kindergarten to 4th grade. The 5th graders start getting bored with having the little kids, so I'm trying to separate more and give those tweens a little more activity that they would be interested in and opportunities that they would be interested in. So that's what we're trying to expand on.
Do you have interest of kids that are older than
Employment.
4th grade? So just employment.
And I'm trying to, like last year we had wrestling for 2 days, but one day there was a tornado, so we didn't get to have it the next day. But we had 18 kids signed up and we ended up having 36 kids participate. So we're also, you know, introducing more of the sports. And that came with Saratoga, the way they were giving out their county money. And this year they reworded it, so we have the same money back as last year, but we are gearing some more sports for the kids because all the kids are becoming more active and that age group is doing the traveling and the extra things and then doing some other enrichments.
So you're finding the kids from the ages of fourth grade up, you're losing because there's nothing offered,
I would say
really?
Fourth grade and up, yeah, they're, the boys stay around more than the girls because of the physical activity, and the girls are iffy. I actually met today with a handful of girls to get their input on what will make you stay, what will keep you, because again, you know, it's an employment for them, that they can become a CIT and then they can become a counselor, and a lot of them like to take care of the younger kids, but the activities, let's do more things that will keep you coming around and not just
Mhm.
playing games. It's more educational, science and the arts.
Very good.
So, and if you have any suggestions, please, you know, share.
Yeah.
Nothing's etched in stone yet. And I'm hoping by the end of April.
Well, they have a nice program with taking the kids out of, and take them out on our boat and teach them about the lake and the, you know, fish and the milfoil and how we take care of it and what it costs us and.
Yeah,
those kids really.
there was, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they're gonna do it again.
yeah, it was really
Yeah.
interesting that they like to see what goes on the lake. So,
And a couple of those kids are actually putting together a poster to enter into a conference that's coming up May 1st, a statewide conference in Lake George about the nice fall of New York State Federation of Lakes. You know, two kids that were in the program that the Lake Association did last summer, put a poster together that they'll be talking about at that conference.
And unfortunately, once they get to teenage and they hit that age
Yeah.
to make money, I mean, we're not, you know, we're only 6 weeks, we're only half a day. So those kids that would probably participate go out and get jobs, and that's,
Yeah.
you know, outside of the community, but it's good for the local kids who don't have their license yet, or, you know, we're working on trying to enhance theirs. I'm talking to someone about actually doing an official CPR and a childcare, so that they can get certifications and things like that.
You might want to contact the Lake George Association. They have a huge floating classroom. And your kids might be a little bit too young, but I don't think so. It's pretty neat. They got microscopes on there. They scoop up stuff and you see this microscopic stuff floating around in the water.
Through the school year, but I'm sure that they haven't.
Oh, it's bigger in the summer.
Yeah.
But you might be able to get that boat just for your group one day.
I will look into that too, and yeah, I mean, I'm open to anything, and
A lot of the ideas that we're getting, that our Lake Associations here are getting, are kind of coming from the Lake George Association.
Okay.
They're out there, they're very helpful.
All right, I will look into that, and like I said, I'm trying to keep our field trips to our local businesses, so.
Yeah.
You know, keeping that.
Well, the reason I bring the Lake George Association thing up is that might be a little way to entice some of the little bit older kids to stay on.
Yeah, we could do a special trip or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you very much.
all you do. Anybody else? I thought I saw, oh, come on. Anyone?
Hi, I have something to say, while
Yeah,
we're.
wait, I'll get back to let this lady come up here now. Come on.
I'm just here on behalf of Rose O'Boyle. I just wanted to, my name's Lawrence Guitari. I just wondered if there was any update on the Northwoods dam stuff.
Sure, I actually talked to Rose on Thursday, but.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
He asked some of us to come to the meeting, but I would say.
Sure. So the last agenda meeting, the board made a motion to send the map and plan that CT Mail did back to CT Mail to do as a final plan.
Okay, perfect.
So when they send it back to the board, we can move forward.
Excellent. That's great news. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you're here. We'll give them to them. Oh, I didn't even recognize you. I'm sitting back there.
Sorry, 74 Lake Avenue, Lake Luzerne. I'll just make it short. I just have a question about the permit giving to the young girl last summer for her lemonade tent. And I know that there was a change made over the last few months that somebody else is gonna be there. And
Did we get a
Is that
letter?
wrong?
Larry, did we get a letter back?
Brittany Moffett applied
okay,
and it came to the board and they
Okay.
approved her for, I think she's just doing weekends.
Weekend.
okay. Are the girls going to?
They haven't come in to do any permit.
Well, because their permit doesn't run out until June, they were told, is what I understand. I'm their commissary, that's why I'm questioning it. And I'm trying to help her because she's a little girl and she, there's starts, they don't know what to do.
I
and-
believe they'd be seasonal permits, not a full year. It's for the season, for the summer.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Well, they misunderstood that part of it
Okay.
when they were given the permit, I guess.
Okay.
But,
I'll check on that though, to make sure that that is the case.
so is there like a time that they should have applied before to get that, or?
No, just whoever comes in. I
Because-
mean, it's not a guarantee that any one person would get it. It never has been really.
No, I know that, I understand that.
Okay.
But, I know that there were some comments, I wanted to see the meeting, the Zoom meeting. And I work from 5 a.m. till 7 p.m, and it's a little hard to kind of in between figure out which Zoom meeting it was, and I didn't find it, so I'm not really educated on what happened. But I also was told that they thought it was kind of early in the season to apply. They were getting ready to apply, but before they could get everything ready, it was already given to somebody else who doesn't have a license or isn't even set up to do it.
She came in and asked for the space. The board approved it for
Okay.
weekends.
Weekends, she only wanted.
She's
weekends.
only doing,
Okay, but if she doesn't
Weekends.
get her permits and stuff lined up before the season, then there will be.
well, if she
nobody
never
there.
gets her permit, then it would still be open, but she is my understanding, she's in the process of getting all of her stuff.
Okay, so the
from
girls
Department
could
of
still
Health.
apply if they wanted to for the other days?
Yes, and he came
Because-
in and we explained that to him, that they weren't completely out.
Yeah, because the Board of Health only lets them do it because they have a tent and not a truck. They're only allowed so many days a week and they have to tell them ahead of time what
Mhm.
days they're gonna be. So if it rains or tornado or whatever, their day's gone.
I mean, there were a lot of days that they weren't there.
Cause they couldn't
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
That because the Board of Health told them, they had to tell the Board of Health what days they were gonna be there.
Okay,
And if they only are allowed so many days a week because they don't have a truck,
right.
they can't be there every day.
Mhm.
I don't know how Maddie and Tom got around all that, but they're treating them differently. And
Well-
that's why. I just don't want them to be shut out because
They're not being shut out.
the health department isn't going to allow what you guys want. If that's the case, then they need to find another location. I know they got a lot of events going on and other things. It's not shutting their business down, but it was a good spot for them.
They could come in because the weekdays are open.
Okay,
I told him that.
Okay.
Did you
Yeah,
tell him?
we did tell him that.
okay. All right. I just want, like I said, I
Yeah.
didn't see the meeting or anything and I'm not as educated on it. I more or less came in to find out what month it was, so I could watch the meetings, but we did a little
Actually,
more
I
discussion.
think we
than I
did at
thought.
the end of last month. Because
It
we
was-
waited,
but we
Couple
read-
months,
we
I
got the
watched
letter
that whole
from
meeting.
them, we got the letter from them in January and we didn't do anything because it was too early.
It's been a couple of months.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I watched a few months.
Yeah, I don't know
probably go
exactly
far
which
enough
month
back.
it was. I'd have to go back and look through the minutes, which I can do.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that they're,
Out in the world out there, Stan? Tricia, you, got something?
I think it was Mrs.
I think it was
Summer.
Denise.
Hi,
Denise.
hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. No, they were talking about kids. I just want to mention, because I'm a volunteer for the Hadley Business Association. On April 26th is the festival and the car show. I mean, we get over 1,000 people and probably 300 or more cars that attend the car show. There's a tremendous amount of activities that are free for the kids. We have a kitty corner. We have so much going on. So just wanted to put a plug in there, you know, to let people know that there's a lot of activities that day for kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Patricia, did you want to say something?
No, I already did.
Oh,
You
okay.
answered my questions before. Thank you.
Wake up, Stan. You should fall asleep on us over there. Oh, sorry.
I just following up earlier, I missed, I had sent in a letter.
Sorry,
Wasn't
can you-
sure if I was, I'm
Your name?
Elizabeth Lent, known as BJ. In the area, if you talk to most families in the area, they know me as the coach of the youth in, as far as basketball and soccer. Not only do I coach for the school, I've been running, a youth basketball program for about 14 years. Solely volunteer, no assistance from anybody, besides other parent volunteers. And I also coordinate with, Corinth, Youth Commission for soccer, because there's no soccer program in Luzerne for kids. Everybody goes to Corinth. And since my daughter was in 3rd grade, she's now a freshman in college, I actually coached, kids teams. All have the Luzerne kids, in our Luzerne district through the Corinth program. So, I had sent a letter in, along with Shannon, because I didn't think I was gonna be here, because I also coach AAU basketball, which we currently have over 20 girls from Hadley Luzerne aging 3rd grade to 11th grade that are currently playing AAU under the program that I volunteer for. So I know that we had made kind of like a request in regards to some funding for youth programs for this area. So I understand that maybe we need to get, if I could just get some more clarification on rules and guidelines for what type of, you know, as far as funding asking for from the town. Everything that I do right now is free of costs for the kids, because I know there's a lot of families that can't afford to, you know, sometimes it's even finding cleats, sneakers, or whatever we can for kids to be able to participate. Carpooling, you know, we have kids that can't, you know, families can't afford the gas to get them to another location. We play North Warren, Warrensburg, Schroon Lake, Lake George, we've been to Cambridge, we've all over to get these kids exposed and involved in youth sports in the area. And so it's an honor to come here and be able to kind of say, hey, you know what, I would love to see if the town would be able to help start supporting these programs for these kids. All the uniforms I have are hand-me-downs. You know, I mean, I still have pennies that my daughter wore when she was in 1st grade that are still being used with our program right now. So what kind of funding would be available? I guess my first question would be, in order to help start supporting not just soccer and basketball, but I know there's, I think Larry Rounds is amazing with a youth wrestling program. He's done an amazing job. But you know, like this, you know, you have Little League, that's great for baseball, but there's a lack of softball. And there's a lack of like tennis and other sports. So I'll shut up now, so maybe you can let me know, how can we go about trying to find some funding? All other schools, like or towns with the schools, they do have money streams through youth commissions and stuff like that, that help pay for referees, that help pay for equipment. Everything that we are doing here is piecemeal to get these kids, you know, the opportunity to continue to be involved and start to grow and love athletics. So
Dave, is this a different group than you were talking about earlier? No, same group?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with school though.
Booster Club has not, like, I will say, I do sit, one of the other things I do, so. Not only do I coach varsity soccer and varsity basketball and run the youth soccer here and you run the youth basketball here and AAU, whatever, I also sit on the Booster Club as the secretary, just because it's all about the kids, you know, and making sure that we're doing everything impossible as we can for the kids. So I'm looking for anything at this point. Booster Club has been like a jumping point for me getting on and getting them involved with investing into our youth and sports programs. So just to clarify, yes, I with the Booster Club, but I also do a lot that's not with the Booster Club, so.
We're gonna have a meeting to decide something. We were talked about this earlier in the evening.
Okay, is there anything like specific as far as guidelines or anything that we should be looking at that would make it easier for us to maybe get some funding?
BJ.
That's so perfect.
So this is for occupancy tax,
Okay,
Which, Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're hosting tournaments and things like that, that are gonna bring people into the area, that we can use that sort of occupancy tax money to then support those tournaments. You can't buy equipment,
okay,
with that. And the budget for this year is already done.
okay,
I spoke to Colleen earlier today. I called Colleen. I said, is there anywhere in the budget for this year that there would be money? And she said, no. That doesn't mean there won't be next year.
okay.
So I think in the short term, if I'm being realistic, and Gene wants to go back to the county and
I wanna see how far we can go with this at the county.
confirm.
You know, it's,
So just to give you a little idea, when Dean talks about tournaments and stuff like that, this is 2 years in a row, we've put on a round robin soccer clinic or soccer tournament here at Luzerne. That has brought in teams from Cambridge and other teams in the area. And last year we did a round robin third grade tournament for basketball, 3-4 basketball. This year, it was insane. Like I had so many teams from out of the area request to come to our tournament. But it was all free. We put it on free. It was all by volunteer. My refs, you know, we refed, my volunteers were refs. And we brought in, I think it was the number of broken up teams, because we had several schools that brought couple teams because they had so many kids. We had about 17 teams come in. And we ran from 9 o'clock in the morning until almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Of just people coming into the area. So we're starting to get a pretty good rap, I guess, about putting on good tournaments. So that is bringing a lot of people into the area. So that might be helpful in the future for the occupancy tax, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And in the short term, this year, that would probably be realistically the only place we could get money from this year.
Okay.
But I want to speak on this a little bit more because that's just for this year. And as somebody who grew up in the school, sports in the school and everything, it's such a disadvantage here in Lake Luzerne because we did not have the support of the people sitting right now. There was no funding for youth sports. I played basketball. We had a set of parents that would take us to different places, but we had no place to practice. We had to pay out of our pocket to pay the King's School to practice so that we could get practice time. And then they would take us to different tournaments all over the place. It shouldn't be like that. And other towns aren't like that. And even if it's just occupancy tax for this year, I think we need to take a hard look at the budget in general to try to support programs for equipment and things like that. Because it's not the school. The school has a limited budget, but this is separate. This is the kids, the younger kids in youth sports that just aren't getting the same opportunities as they are in Corinth, as they are in Lake George, and there's no reason for it. So in the short term, like I said, this year, realistically, because the budget was set last year, there's nothing I don't think that we could do. But I personally, and I can only speak for myself, would like to see the town take a harder look and actually include some more actual funding for equipment to really support the kids. There's a lack of, and you hear this through all levels of the community, that there is a lack of community feel, particularly in the younger age groups in Luzerne. There's not enough stuff for the kids to do, and this would provide something for the kids to do. And I think the playground project is a huge step in the right direction, and I think this would complement that very well. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Where do the other towns get their monies?
From
Reason I ask, oh, my kids are 40 years old, right? they played sports through college, both of them. Back when they were playing ball, and this is in Clifton Park, when they were playing ball, all the teams raised their own money, including the town, the quote, town rec softball program. That's probably changed. That was 30 years ago.
I can speak on, so for example, the youth commission to Corinth. Are the ones that support their youth, I can only speak for basketball and soccer. Support their soccer program, they support their basketball program, Lake George Youth Commission supports their program.
Where's their money actually come from?
I'm sorry,
Where's their money come from?
that I'm not sure.
I've spoken with, the, youth director in Corinth, and their money comes all from their town, and what are they, a town in a
Village.
Yeah.
So it comes right from there that supports their programming.
I don't want to come across as a pessimist because sports for kids and me are extremely important. That's the way I brought up my kids. That's the way I was brought up. Yeah.
An example, the success, so I really got into, I graduate from Luzerne.
I graduated from Warrensburg.
Yeah, so played, I'm a lot older than Dane is, but say how long ago it was. But, in fact, I was probably coaching when Dane was playing. I've supported sports in, here at Luzerne for close to 30 years. I've been involved, so. I started coaching my daughter's grade in third grade, she started in kindergarten. But I started coaching them in third grade as an all-girls team in soccer. And fast forward to their senior year last year, because they were supported through youth program, through AAU, through basketball, everything that we were doing. These young ladies, finished with the best record ever for soccer. We've got Class D Keeper of the Year came out of that class. We've got Carolina Diamond that scored over 100 goals for her career. That's out of this world for this area, this region. But most importantly, this led to Carolina having an opportunity to play at Nazareth and get some financial support to go to Nazareth, and she plays soccer there. My daughter Madison, she's going to Bridgewater State University to play basketball. Our valedictorian, Sarah Abbott, she's the only one to make out a walk-on as the basketball team at Clarkson. Then you got Gabby Graham, she's off on her rodeo, right? But then you have another athlete that stepped out of her comfort zone, and she's actually on the equestrian team. And I really feel like this all started and built from their participation in all kinds of sports when they were younger. And that those things led them to be such a successful group of young women who are now, in college, that I know will then continue and bring this back to the next. A lot of those girls have already come back. Two of them are already coming back and coaching this spring with AAU because they want to bring what they experienced back to the town. So I think it's very important. This one back here, she's being very good. She'll be my third generation that I've coached. And she's already playing soccer.
Oh, I knew.
So this is what it's about here right now, is the next generation coming through. Right? Do you like soccer? And do you go to basketball? Yeah, and you go see the girls? Yeah, so, all right, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, all right? You've been so good. Ready? Come on.
Anybody else?
Thanks, BJ.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, BJ.
Hello, I'm Curtis Jones with the Upper Hudson Queer Alliance. And I exchanged an email with
What?
Upper Hudson Queer Alliance. We're a local nonprofit. We do youth advocacy. The past 2 years, we've had a pride picnic at the Pavilion Park. And I sent an email to the town clerk. I got a response asking for a phone number, but we never spoke on the phone. because we're requesting possibility that the town sponsor our event just as in an official capacity, not with any kind of funding. But just basically so that we can guarantee that we can actually have the park that day instead of having to show up and claim it as a first come, first served situation. And also so that we can maybe expand a little bit and have food trucks. We weren't able to do that in the past couple of years. But we're gonna have, we had 100 people or more last year and we expect. to
It
have
rained,
more this
it
year.
rained all day though.
Yeah, we did, it rained all day, but we had a good time. We expect to have more people this year, and we figure we're more organized this year, and we're also an official 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're fully volunteer. So any support that we can get, we would love to have, and I think legally it's better for you guys if we're like officially a nonprofit. But that's just something that you don't have to, I guess, don't have to give an answer right now, but I figured since the emailing and phone call situation didn't work out, it'd be better to just come and address all of you at once. And then you can just all be on the same page about it, and maybe we can coordinate and continue to discuss via email.
All right, I think I have the letter here. You sent.
Oh, okay.
We know, well, I know what you're looking for.
Is what letter is that actually?
I don't know if you're the same group, but
Is it Lower Adirondack Tribe?
yeah.
We are not Lower Adirondack Tribe. What is, I don't know, but we are the ones who have hosted the Pride picnic the past 2 years, and we.
Well, that's what these people are, because according to the letter, they were here last year.
Let me see.
Sorry. Because there's things that's in there that we cannot do.
No,
So you-
this is not the same group.
We are the Upper Hudson Queer Alliance, where we have only.
You weren't here last year, I know they were.
Yes, no,
Which
these
one?
people.
I came to the meeting last year
Yes. Yeah.
before
Yes.
our picnic to announce ourselves. But we have been just hosting it as a volunteer thing. We've gone to the park, we've just been there with a group of people, we filed for this appropriate permits and all of that. We're hoping to maybe make it more official this year.
I think we need to discuss, because I think
Yeah,
our organizations have been mixed up.
yeah.
Okay.
I think
This would be
so.
happening the last weekend, the last Saturday in June.
Oh, this
I
is,
believe it's
this
the
is
28th.
June 6th, I think. Yeah, you can read that. All right.
Sorry, what did you say?
The
whole half?
last weekend, the last Saturday in June. Is there another Pride organization trying to host a
Yeah.
Pride event in Luzerne?
I'm not sure. That's the first time I'm seeing. it.
Okay,
Yeah,
That's
we got from
interesting.
another one. I thought it was you guys.
I mean. I don't think that they like us very much, so maybe they're trying to push us out, but we actually live
It's
here.
not that, you gotta understand, I'm gonna
Yeah.
speak to you straight.
Yeah.
No,
Not against anything.
Yeah,
No.
let's get this straight and then,
Yeah,
then we'll.
but no, my point is, what Dave's asking, there's things we can't do in the park. We can't reserve it one particular day. That is our rule, is first come, first served.
We're hoping to make it an official town event because we know that the town hosts events in the park,
Okay, let's.
right?
All right, go
Let's
ahead.
go.
All right, yes, I will.
So you are not affiliated with the Lower Adirondack
No, it's
Pride.
a separate organization.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have to discuss that.
Okay, thanks. You want to leave a telephone number that we can reach you on?
Yeah, I actually, I emailed it to the town clerk, but I'll give it again.
No, I thought that this one.
I'm sure we.
I can just say it out loud. 213. 880. 9864.
And that's yours.
That's my personal phone number. yes.
What was your name again?
Curtis F. Jones. And I'm from Hadley, if that matters. I live in Hadley.
Oh.
All right, that's really all I wanted to say. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
Curtis.
good day.
All right, thank you, yeah, thank you for waiting so long. All right, anybody else? The only other thing, I just wanted to show my board here, this is from the Historical Society. They only gave us two.
I got it.
You got something?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
And I'll get more. It really, it's a nice brochure, it really is. Good job. All right, thank you very much. We're gonna go into executive session.
Attorney-client privilege.
All right, I need an executive session. I want to an executive attorney-client privilege.
I'll make that motion
A second.
and we will be doing nothing afterwards.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion.
Decisions will be made there. Just discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none carried.
Why don't you guys just adjourn?
What's that?